Hello and welcome. My name is Matt Lees and this is David Scammell.
Hello.
And one of the great things about David Scammell, / terrible things about David Scammell, is the fact that he collects games that he doesn't need obsessively. But the advantage of this is that we've got almost every GTA game that's ever been made.
All of them.
Really close to all of them. So we're going to play all of them and go on a trip down memory lane and look at all of them for a couple of minutes. Won't that be lovely?
That'd be amazing.
Video games. Let's go. First up, we've got the game that started it all, Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, yeah.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. Let's just jump straight in. This is obviously, I've forgotten so much of this.
Yeah.
Like, the different characters, Bubba, Kivlov, Travis, Troy. Weirdly as well, I remember on the PC version, there were 4 women you could play as well. So actually the PlayStation version, for whatever reason, a bit less progressive. We're playing on the PS1 version. Obviously we're playing as Bubba because he's the fat man with a moustache.
Of course. Why not?
The only way to do it, really. Oh, man. GTA. I mean, this, at the time, this was before GTA had really found its feet. It was hugely popular, wasn't it? Because it was I think it was a shareware game, wasn't it?
Was it shareware?
I think...
I'm not sure. I remember it being a kind of word of mouth thing. Like it launched to very little hype.
I think it might have been a kind of shareware in the... Because most PC games of this era were shareware in the fact that you would get access to kind of... you get maybe the first island, the first area, and then you have to pay.
Ah, right.
Either that, or I pirated it and I was a child. I'm too young to really remember what pirating was.
Oh, this is amazing.
It is. It's pretty class. I just ran over a dude. That's GTA, and of course missions. Yeah.
Yes.
But if this was before, kind of obviously, like it wasn't a satire at this point, was it?
No, it was very much a kind of just top-down arcade. Well, I don't know what you describe it as, really.
It was very much an arcade game, really. It's just simple, really. You go around, you have a lot of the rampage tokens and the boxes. You'd have the inability to drive. I'm currently Sim.
Oh dear.
I can't get used to the controls. It's just so alien. Like going back and playing old games, it's not the difficulty that's the problem initially. It's the fact that we've got all the controls are completely different, and obviously the handling is just so basic.
And this was very much about the killing. I mean, you got points for killing people in this, which you don't in the new ones.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get a fast car. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, oh no, that was rubbish. So yeah, it was very much about running people over. Let's try and...
I know the new games get a bit of criticism from certain circles, but you know, I'd probably say that killing people for points is probably a little bit more
absolutely.
edgy.
Absolutely. I mean, basically in this, it was really kind of... It was dark but tongue-in-cheek in the fact that you could get guns, you could kill people, and you get points for killing people. I'm on the lookout for Harry Krishnas for obvious reasons.
Guranga!
Were Harry Krishnas in the PlayStation version?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to check. I mean, they seem like an integral part of it to me. Oh, why? This is driving me mental. It's like I'm playing on a PS1 pad and it's like X to run forward, to accelerate, and
is it square
to
reverse?
To get in and out of
right.
cars? But the square is like traditionally like reverse now, right? So every time I want to reverse a car, I end up getting out of it. Oh,
amazing.
Man. But yeah, GTA, it was weird. It was just violent. It was just silly, really. There was nothing about it that... at the time, people worried about it because it was a game where you could drive around and kill people. But now it's like looking at this and seeing it as anything other than just a stupid arcade game. It just seems mental, really. How do I bloody punch people?
Couldn't you fart and burp and stuff by pushing one of the shoulder buttons? I think so, yeah. It was the horn button, wasn't it? But when you weren't in a car, you could let off.
That's the thing. This is just daft.
It's just silly.
It's just silly, but it was great fun at the time. Now,
I'm not sure what you're doing.
I'm trying to punch a person on the street because I'm playing GTA, Dave. That's what GTA's like. God, it's so fucking hard.
There we go.
Punch the man, punch the man. Next game. Next up, we have Grand Theft Auto London, which was back in the day when we used to say, oh man, imagine if they made a game like this, but in London, and they actually did it.
They bloody did do it.
And now they don't do it. We've got Maurice Kane, which is
no idea what that could be in reference
Rodney
to.
Morash, Charles Jones, Sid Vacant. That's, so quite a lot of British references in there already. And Boys Will Be Thieves. It's London, we've got a little Bobby hat.
Yeah.
And it does a Big Ben noise every time you press a button.
Amazing.
It is amazing. This game is like 50% like wicked fulfillment. Obviously, this is just smart. Like, you know, you've got like classic kind of pop art look, but then you've also got like the Michael Carter in Get Kane. Mm-hmm. No, Michael Caine in Get Carter. And a kind of, you know, proper mod cufflinks.
Yeah. Talking of mods, I mean, it is essentially
This
a
is
reskinned
basically, yeah,
GTA.
it basically was a reskinned GTA. So,
But at the time, you know, I mean, there was nothing particularly wrong with that. I don't
and this
think.
is running actually, because we should say this is running on the PlayStation. So the other ones we had, and who are they?
Were they thugs or something? Were they the equivalent to the
Hooligans or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
is that right?
Yeah. You see, I can already see that this is the this is the control scheme on the PlayStation. Because we have to say, I recorded GTA 1 on PC, and we didn't have this on PC. So I must admit that the control scheme on the PlayStation Pad is remarkably different to the one from the PC.
What's different about it?
Well, you press like X to move forward as a walk.
Oh yeah, it's like an acceleration.
It's
type
like
thing,
you
isn't it?
accelerate your legs with the X button.
Yep.
Which doesn't make any sense. Well, it sort of does, I suppose, but where those hooligans go, they've probably disappeared. They've probably deloaded. And you'll also see as well, obviously, when we were playing GTA, that it was super, super fast. Oh, look at that.
Austin Powers
Groovy,
car.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on, I want to try and get that. Oh, God, this is hard. I actually almost preferred it when it was breakneck speed, like impossibly hard to control, because at least then you could move around a bit.
It is quite London. Look at that open top bus.
Open top bus. We're in Westminster. I cycle through Westminster most days. It's just like this. No, but seriously, have they even made an attempt to make this like the geography of London?
I doubt it.
Or is it just? Well, it might be. This is let's just see if we can find our way around. That's the bridge. Is there a map? Is there a map? I'm just going to look. Oh, no.
No, because they used to give you paper maps, didn't they? Well, they still do give you paper maps, but
there's a phone in North East Chelsea. So we're in Soho already.
No.
Bloody hell.
This isn't realistic.
Now we're in Southwest City. Where's the Waterloo Bridge? I'm going to see if I find a Waterloo Bridge. So yeah, obviously this came out between, it wasn't expansion really, wasn't it? You needed to have the original game. This must be the Waterloo Bridge.
It's got to be. Those water textures, look at those.
This looks just like when I cycle over this a lot. It's exactly the same. Is this going to be Waterloo? No, we're in Southwark. We're actually going towards my house. Let's find my house. Central Southwark.
Do you see these kind of vehicles?
Yeah, this is exactly how run down my area is.
Taxi.
It's the area of Southwark. South Southwark. This is amazing. And I live somewhere around here, apparently. Yeah. It's not terribly realistic.
Well, it's a nice little tour of
your
area.
Tour of my neighbourhoods. Yeah. It's exactly like this. And there's my house. I live here. So yeah, that's GTA London. People say they want games to have London in them, and they bloody well did it. And it was a bit rubbish, probably. But we got it, didn't we?
Got there in the end.
Hooray! Let's see what came next. Now we're skipping over to GTA 2, which was the first game where the series really clearly had some attempts to be kind of something a bit more cinematic. And I swear that main character, that guy in the car, is a character on the bill. I'm sure. I'm not making this up. I don't know the name of the actor, but I swear I've seen him in something going, "You mug, you muppet," or something like that.
And here he is.
Here he is.
New
and you
York.
have to imagine he's in New York, but I can't take him seriously because I just imagine a man going, "You mug, you muppet," etc. But yeah, this was the next game after GTA London 1969, although there was another one in between.
Yeah.
There was London 1961, which was a free downloadable mission pack for people who owned GTA and GTA London on the PC, which is quite a specific setup. But that was back in the time before when DLC wasn't a thing and expansion packs were sort of a thing, but that was just a free download.
Yeah.
You would never get that now.
Absolutely not.
Hey guys, you've bought both of our games, thanks for that. Here's some more free missions.
And while they were doing that, they were making this.
While they were doing that, they were making GTA 2 and making men fall out of doors. GTA 2. Bosh. Let's have a look. So this one was kind of like a weird one in the fact that it was quite similar, but you can tell they'd already started to go for like kind of a more realistic, no, I'm not going to enter a player name. It's quite a revolutionary idea though.
Yeah.
But look, it's got actual pictures of real humans.
Proper gangsters.
That's a very pretty lady. Although I must say, like, you know, GTA 3 kind of got a lot saucier, but I like the way here. It's just a pretty lady in a nice blouse.
And yeah, I mean,
she's not leaning forward. She's not got an orcs out. She's just a very pretty lady with a fat man with glasses.
He looks scary
Simpler times. He does look scary, but not that scary. He looks
she
scary
with him
in a
out
sort
of-
of Jimmy Savile way.
Out of fear or... well, right, moving on.
Not scary in a gangster way. Oh God, I've done that tutorial button. But yeah, obviously play, GTA 2, you can see here, this is a lot smoother already. And but also, something else I noticed here is the fact that we originally recorded some bits on the PC version of the game.
Yeah.
And the PC version of the game looks a lot better.
It does, but
and we did have some issues with the PC recording we did, but you know what? Actually, I'm going to seg into that in a minute. So this is the PlayStation version, but in a moment we're going to seamlessly seg into another bit of footage, which looks a lot nicer.
And there was a less of a focus on these in the later ones as well, really.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, is basically we kind of see them moving towards realism in this with the kind of photorealistic stuff, and even the fact that we had that kind of like proper live action intro really does kind of showcase the direction that these guys wanted to take GTA.
Yeah.
You know, they hadn't quite got there yet, but that's what they were thinking about. And because at this point, it's GTA was still just a stupid action game. It was just a dumb kind of...
Very easy to pick up arcade.
Yeah, it was just arcade stupidity. And a lot of people worried, like, oh, it's going to make our kids insane murderers and stuff. And it's like, well, actually, no. Oh, I got busted by the cops. Actually, it was just a really silly... it wasn't even satire, it was just silly.
Yeah.
And obviously then GTA 3 became more cinematic, and now it's kind of more like GTA 4 and 5, we'll talk about in a bit, well, it became more satire. But at this point, it didn't kind of know what it wanted to be. It clearly had illusions and aspirations to be a kind of slightly more cinematic game, but at the same time, it's very much kind of, they've ramped up the arcade elements like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense that maybe this game wasn't as well received, because looking back on it now, it does seem like the whole thing, they're a little bit unclear about what they want the game to be.
But they're still great games to play today. They obviously they feel a bit dated, but they're not. I think they've aged quite well.
I think they have aged very well, actually. And I mean, the thing is, especially because this game doesn't represent like, it's not like GTA 3. You don't play this and go, oh God, it's like a rubbish version of GTA 5. They're different games. As I say, actually, like, having these fully automatic weapons is a great fun, but my God, trying to fire the pistol in the first game and hit anything with it,
you know what?
Is just an absolute pain in the dick.
I think I'd rather play this on iOS than the sort of remakes they did of GTA 3 and Vice City.
I think you might be right, to be honest.
I don't know why they haven't done that.
I'd love it if they made... Whoa, look at those explosions. They're actually not bad, to be honest. I've played games that came out this year that had explosions that looked worse than that. Fair play, lads. Video games. Let's move on to the next one. So now we're into the realm of 3D.
Oh, look at it.
I forgot about that. You could use the stick and look around. My God, it's a 3D world.
Wow.
A 3D city full of possibilities. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing that because I keep forgetting about the fact that they haven't made it so that this stick controls the camera automatically. Which is obviously...
I was getting so confused with that the other day when I went back to these.
And how do I get
Triangle.
into triangle?
There you go.
Hooray. X button, not the R button. This is so mental. It's like all of the kind of things that now we take for granted about how games control.
It's amazing, isn't it?
They just don't exist yet. On the plus side though, this is still the era when you can choose to use the D-pad or the stick to control things.
Really?
Yeah, which is nice because obviously the PlayStation controller has the D-pad in a far more pleasant area.
How are we changing the radios on this? Is that one of the shoulder buttons, presumably? I don't even know.
Could you? Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So here we are, GTA 3.
GTA 3. Look at all these lampposts.
Yeah.
Realism.
And the weird motion blur trail thing that they put in. Which
oh, man.
I never really liked that much.
And that's however. Obviously, this is. I think I'm about to come to one of the frustrations I have with GTA 3, and the fact that the missions are quite hard. And I didn't like the fact that the game started with a little mission where you've got a bloke in the back of a car, and I'm supposed to look after him, and I just want to crash a car and stuff.
So you're both escaped convicts, aren't you, at the beginning of the
game? We
are,
yeah, obviously.
Well, Left 4 Dead.
Whoa, sugar buns. This is time for me to leave. Mission failed. Yeah, you see, that's kind of what my frustration was with this game, was I got that screen a lot.
Yeah.
The old mission failed. But no, GTA 3, I mean, this is where it all started, really, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the thing was, it was very much a word of mouth thing, wasn't it? When it first came out, there was a little bit of hype, I think, but nowhere near the level that sort of Vice City launched.
You know what, it feels like most of the big games of our times have been like that as well. It's always the sequels that gets tons and tons and tons of marketing hype.
True.
But the games themselves, not so much. Like I think Modern Warfare was a bit like that, to be honest. It kind of felt like nobody was really that interested in Call of Duty Modern Warfare until when it was just about to come out, and then suddenly everyone was like, "Whoa, have you seen this? You've got to see this." And GTA 3 very much feels the same as that, really. You've got to, you know, marketing's all very well and good, but you've got to have something awesome.
It was just the freedom at the time, wasn't it?
I think that's it. It was a 3D city in which you could explore and dick about and just be naughty and be a dick. And that was a massive appeal.
I remember getting it and being like, so I can go anywhere? And because obviously Driver came out before this on PS1.
The Driver felt very restrictive. Like, you know, you was like, you know, you had to spend probably 4 hours in a car park reversing carefully before it let you into the real world. And also the fact that obviously Driver, you know, you could try and run over pedestrians, but they just always somehow jump out of the way.
And you couldn't get out of your car in the original Driver.
No, you couldn't. I mean, that's the thing, again, one of the things that was amazing about this game was it was like a made-up game. It's like, whenever kids talked about video games, like, imagine a game which is 3D and you can drive around, and it looks like the real world, and you can drive around a car, you can get out of a car, you can walk around, you can climb up stuff, and it's like, that's what this game was.
And even though it was kind of serious, all about gangsters and criminals and all that, there was still that fun underlayer, do you know what I mean? It just...
Well, it's daft, and I think that's actually, it was still silly, but in 3D, they were a bit less crass about it in a way. Like, obviously in the first GTA, the humour didn't go much further beyond, there's a bunch of Hare Krishnas, run them all over, and it will shout Garanga, which was obviously brilliant. But in this, with the visual clarity, they could afford to be a bit more clever with their jokes. And it meant, you know, obviously the points popping out for running people over are gone, and it's just a bit more dark humour, bit of satire.
Looking back on it, though, it looks a bit rougher than I remember it looking, but that's nostalgia for you, I guess.
That's nostalgia. Anyway, that's enough for the big dog. Let's move on to the next game. This is a personal favourite of yours, I believe, Dave?
Oh, it's the best one.
I think lots of people say that, you know, and I'm kind of gutted that I didn't like GTA 3 that much, and because of that, I never really tried this.
It's just, it got that point where they'd nailed the open world, they'd got that, but now they layered on the atmosphere, they layered on the soundtrack. The soundtrack was incredible.
The soundtrack of Vice City is what so many people I know talk about. I've been drunk at parties with strangers so many times, and they've just sat there and gone, oh, Vice City. And actually, you know what? That's a huge part of GTA's cultural impact in my mind, is the soundtracks have defined the games of the era. Like, and actually, so many songs from this game have become popular with our generation. Because of this. There's quite a lot of camp 80s music in this game that now loads of fully grown men love.
Definitely, me included. Amazing.
Like Michael Jackson and stuff. Like, you know, obviously, you know, rest in peace, the bloody pedo. But, you know, it was some good times. We had some good times before all that came out and before he started holding babies out of windows and stuff. Anyway, Vice City.
The big thing about Vice City, I think, was your character actually spoke now, which they'd always avoided in the last ones.
Was it Tommy Vercetti?
Tommy Vercetti, which was Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta doing the voice.
So it was Tommy Vercetti in this game, that wasn't...
Tommy Vercetti is the player character,
Okay.
Voiced by Ray Liotta.
I thought I was getting mixed up with Animal Crossing. That's Mr. Vercetti.
That's worrying. But yeah.
Mr. Vercetti. That'd be great if he was in Animal Crossing and he'd come around because you reset your system and threaten
Shotgun to the face.
Shoot you in the face.
Here's your drugs.
So, let's see, can we skip unskippable cutscenes, maybe?
You can skip, I think it just take a while to actually...
Yeah, there we are.
There we go.
Vice Beach, come on, let me see some of that blue skies. Because obviously, one of the things I noticed about GTA 3 was it was a very dark game. And I think that was because it was like, it wasn't loading textures, it was just loading shapes.
I think they used that to their advantage narratively. They were like, oh, it's the worst city in America or something like the most depressing city in America or something like that. But this was all colours. And the shift from GTA 3 to Liberty City to Vice City, just amazing.
Because this is basically set in Miami, right? And yeah, already look at that opening
Just
shot.
look at the HUD. It's
very
neon
colourful.
pinks and greens.
It's amazing, actually. That's the thing, is I know that they've kind of, obviously GTA 5 is combining. And there we are.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. To be honest, like, GTA 3 has aged very badly, but just jumping into this, I like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's class.
And at the end of the day, you know what, it was more GTA 3 in terms of its structure, in terms of how it played. But the little tweaks they'd made to it, it was just felt that much better. It felt so much more
And it's got a
accomplished.
hell of a lot of character. And
Yeah,
again, the
absolutely.
lighting as well, obviously, it's just had a lot more advanced. It's actually quite similar in a way to the jump between GTA 1 and GTA 2 in terms of kind of having that incredible lighting layer.
That's true, yeah.
Very slick, whacked up the draw distance. But it's funny because this game it's kind of a real bit of a draw now because obviously, as you say, this is very similar. Let's jump into a different V-Rock.
Yeah.
80s Miami. But then the next game we're going to show, actually we'll jump into that in a second, is the one that seems to divide people. Whoa, look at me, I can't drive. Whoa,
Oh, no.
sugar buns! Let's just jump into the next game. So now we're on to another one from a similar era as Vice City, but this one's, well, not divisive, that's not true at all. Obviously, it's widely regarded as being great. But obviously, like, you were a massive fan of Vice City, but then there were people who there are people who love Vice City, and then there were people who loved San Andreas. And actually, there are probably more people who think San Andreas is the best game.
Oh yeah, no, and absolutely technically, on a technical level, far and beyond Vice City. Do you know what I think it was? You saw how instant we were hooked into Vice City almost.
Yeah.
The opening for San Andreas took so long, and I didn't like the tone.
Well, I think as well, I suppose the thing is that, oh, this just reminds me of Bully. I bloody love Bully.
Yeah.
It's such a shame that didn't sell as well. Well, it probably would have done if they'd been able to call it Bully and not Canem Edit.
Yeah.
Anyway, nice bit of blue skies though. Not enough blue skies. Way! I'm having a whale of a time here. How long till I die, do you reckon?
Well, not that long if you go onto the... Oh, I thought they were train tracks.
Well,
There
this
you go.
is the... Whoa!
Uh-oh.
Oh, sugar buns, son. This was the appeal, really, of...
It was huge, San
It's
Andreas.
massive. And obviously, you know, it's worth pointing out that, in case you don't know this, it's pretty obvious, but GTA 5 is essentially San Andreas 2.
Yeah.
That was uncalled for. that was absolutely uncalled for. You could have just pulled them out there.
But yeah, again, another complete tone shift, really, from...
Massive tone shift. And I keep forgetting I'm not in England and driving on the wrong side of the road, which is obviously one of the reasons I don't have a driving license.
Thank God for that.
Otherwise, I would be doing this in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, loads of people, the main excitement about GTA 5 is going back to Los Santos and going back to this place.
Yes.
But having it in super turbo 3D vision. Because let's be honest, it's massive, but this looks like tat.
When you consider the PS2 tech,
I mean, the art style is lovely.
amazing,
The art
but-
style is lovely. I've got it.
that looks nice.
It does.
For PS2.
But obviously, I mean, now it's just...
Oh.
Oh, you didn't see that, officer. To be honest, I know what it looked like.
Might want to reverse.
But,
or just run.
I know what it looks like.
And that's right, introduce this kind of RPG light type stat stuff where the more you ran, the fitter you became, the more you ate, the fatter you were, and you could change your haircut and all things like that, which you couldn't do in Vice City.
There are all sorts of stuff you could do. And obviously, I mean, as well, I've forgotten what I was going to say. I'm trying to work out how to...
Are you still running from this copper?
Yeah, I think I've got away.
I think he's gone.
I think I got away with it.
Just run into a bush.
I may have murdered somebody, but I think I got away with it. And that's why games are good. No, it's just, to be honest, the output of these guys was just incredible. Like,
Yeah.
you know, to be able to have something like Vice City and then in such a short period of time come out with something like this as well. I don't know how they were doing it, really. They were machines.
Again, though, it's very gloomy, this opening. But then later on, when you get into more of Hollywood, it does get a bit more fancy, a bit more Vice City-like, I guess. But it's kind of... It tries to do both to a degree, and I'm not sure it
It was hugely ambitious.
Yes.
I think that's the thing. Hugely ambitious.
Oh.
Buns. But you could swim. Hooray!
Hooray!
Swimming. Yes, this was technically really, really impressive, but I do know for a lot of people, because obviously you could have planes as well, didn't you? And you parachuting and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was really technically ambitious, but I know that a lot of people, is this going to cause me trouble?
Oh, no.
Not that much trouble. Can I hijack a boat from the water? No. No. Never mind.
Oh.
And I don't know what he was doing there.
No, just taking a lie down.
Just having a weird lie down time. Weird lie down time. Birds, birds, birds. So yeah, Andreas, much more ambitious. A lot of people liked it just because of the scope and stuff, but personally for my money, and I must say it's outside of money, in case it hasn't become clear at this point, I like GTA a lot, but I haven't played all the games. So I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. But personally, I think Vice City was the one that really, it felt richer than this. This is very much a kind of, the scope of it is incredible. I suppose in a way, it's almost like looking at games like, this reminds me of games like, modern games like State of Decay, in a way.
Yeah,
in the fact that State of Decay looks this ugly. And also that it's a game that's really ropey, but very ambitious in terms of the ideas. But obviously, they will come back to this sort of scope in a time that's quite close to where we are currently.
Very close, in fact. Yeah.
We'll be back to that one very soon. Next game! And now, apart from some of the early dabbles into spin-offs, we've got a major spin-off. This is when the GTA series was starting to expand quite quickly, and there's a game actually that goes slightly before this that we can't show, unfortunately, which is GTA Advance, which was GTA on the Game Boy Advance, which was kind of more based on the original games, I believe.
Yeah, it was a top-down one, wasn't it, again?
It was indeed, but this is GTA Vice City Stories.
Liberty City Stories.
Liberty City Stories.
We're back in that place again.
Back in the old Liberté City.
I can't work out whether it looks better than 3 or not.
Or worse. It's hard to say.
The draw distance seems better, but the frame rate seems worse.
I think that's fair to say. But this was actually a different engine. Up until this point, it had used the Renderware engine.
Right.
But this was actually developed on a different engine specifically made for the PSP, because this was a PSP game.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was a different engine.
Yeah, it was. It was a different engine developed for the PSP, and this was ported onto the PS3 as a downloadable title, but it was also, in 2006, it came out on the PlayStation 2, which is what we're playing on it now.
Yay!
It was an interesting one in the fact that it was basically GTA 3's world again, pretty much.
Yeah.
A couple of differences. You can drive, they definitely had like motorbikes to this. Motorbikes weren't in GTA 3.
Right, yeah.
And
were they not?
No, they weren't.
Oh.
They made up some sort of stupid canon about that as well, I remember. About how it's like, oh yeah, it's because they were outlawed in the city until this time, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Whatever, sons.
Because I didn't play this on PS2 or PS3, I played it on the PSP originally, and I think the PSP version was the first time they introduced proper multiplayer to GTA.
That sounds likely. And look, I've come back to, this is the exact same place I came to, do you remember on
Yeah.
on GTA 3? I've obviously got an affinity
Towards
for
the car shop.
For the car shop. Come on, no.
So you're a different character though, you're not Claude from GTA 3 or...
No, we are somebody else. I think Tony Cipriani.
That's it.
Who was
a
pizza.
It's one of the mission dealers in, mission givers in GTA 3.
He's a delicious pizza. Oh, that was a thing. So, yeah, we're this man. Oh, what a man. And yeah, it was the first one on the PSP. And yeah, it wasn't bad. One of the interesting things about the PSP version, which wasn't on the PS2 version, was the ability to create custom soundtracks. So if you play it on the PSP, you could rip your own CDs into WAV files and play a GTA game with your own music.
I remember a lot of people getting so excited for this on PSP. Finally, like 3D GTA.
3D GTA in your hands?
Amazing.
Now we just download GTA 3 and put it on an Android phone and then don't really play it because we're just like, oh, it's just GTA 3, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Played it before. Way!
Times were different back then.
Let's have a look at another game. So, now we have Vice City Stories. And this is very similar in the fact that it was a PSP game which was ported across to PS3 as a download and PS2 as a full release. And obviously you can still do that, which is cool. I just wanted to check that they kept that feature in from the last game, obviously. Yeah, it's very similar, but obviously this is in Vice City. Yeah. They did have some new stuff in this actually. Like apparently they took the kind of, in Vice City obviously you had the property system, didn't you, where you could buy places, and in San Andreas you had gang wars. They kind of merged those two, so you have to like buy kind of businesses and offer protection and stuff like that, which is quite cool. But interesting, this was the first game as well where they really started to advance things. This and the Liberty City Stories were the first games that actually sort of started doing the camera, so you can see here.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice, because obviously you saw me trying to do that in GTA 3 and failing. But now you actually can use the camera, which is nice. It starts to feel like you're playing a modern game, which GTA 3 absolutely doesn't. And there were some other nice touches in this as well, actually. There's some simple things, like they actually started to sort out the combat a bit. So in fights, if you're aiming a gun or aiming your fists at someone, it would basically prioritize enemies over civilians. Which is all this stuff now that you just sort of expect.
You take for granted.
You take for granted, but you forget that actually At this point, it was innovation.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's clever, isn't it?
This was the GTA that I played the least amount, and I guess because it was a spin-off, and it came out at a weird time. I think it came out just as the transition towards the next-gen consoles, or the
Yes, it did.
last gen.
Well, it was 2006. This came out on PS2.
Right. So yeah.
So
right
really,
around
it
PS3
was
time.
like, yeah, like 2006 was very much the end of the PS2 era. Well, arguably when all the best stuff came out, like, oh, I want to do that. I'm rubbish at bicycles.
You're not having a good time.
I'm not having a good time. But yeah, this was set 2 years before Vice City. Not bad. It's not bad. I think it was quite well received, but as you say, I think a lot of people were ready for something new.
Yeah.
And talking of something new, let's have a look at something newer. Well, this doesn't look like a PSP game, does it, Dave?
No, it doesn't.
It looks a lot better than a PSP game. I'm going to take a cheeky little shortcut. GTA 4.
Wow. Looks a lot better than before, right?
If you need us to tell you what GTA 4 is, then you're a strange human being, possibly an alien from another planet.
Yeah.
Massively updated, obviously.
And again, like, just when you stepped out into GTA 3 and you had that kind of wow moment where you're in this huge world, even though you're in a 3D Liberty City, it's still that wow moment again because it looks so good.
It does look so good, and there was so much to it. I mean, even the simple details here, like obviously there tells you at the start, you can hold down X to switch between, like, your kind of beam lights, full beam and dimmed.
I've played this game for probably hundreds of hours, and I forgot you could do that. No idea.
I forgot that. I forgot you could do this. I forgot you could hold down B and get to the kind of cinematic cam, which makes it quite hard to steer cars, but it makes it look awesome, which is nice. But there were so many things at this game. I mean, for me, the kind of social satire, I loved all that. I love the fact you could, in addition to listening to the radio, you could watch TV in your house.
Yeah.
Had actual TV shows. I used to actually sit and watch those TV shows while I was eating my dinner.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In between, well, that was when I was taking a break from playing GTA 4.
Yeah.
I'd stop and...
You could go drink driving.
You could go drink driving. It was incredible. And to be honest, like, obviously, you were just talking about earlier, the fact that 5 is interesting in the fact that this, again, a bit like Vice City, was more kind of concentrated, wasn't it? They took out all of the kind of...
Yeah, it lost a lot of what San Andreas introduced. I mean, a lot of people complained that it was a step back. You couldn't fly planes. It lost the RPG light mechanics of San Andreas, and it was a smaller playing environment, it was a smaller city. But I don't know if it really was a step back. It was a tighter game for it, I think, and felt a little bit more polished than San Andreas.
Well, you can't really argue with that. I think it's, and that's what's interesting for me about GTA 5, is basically the fact that they've kept the polish, but then they've added the incredible depth and size.
Yeah.
Which is something, obviously, as you saw earlier, people talk about San Andreas being amazing, but as we've noted, it was quite an ugly game. It was kind of a ropey game, and it gave you this huge scope to do awesome stuff, but at the same time, it was a bit basic in some regards. I remember, though, actually, specifically, the wow moment of GTA, for me, was to do with getting your car to go so fast, I'll just lose that, get a bit of speed, that you could hit a wall and just fly out the front of your car.
That's the thing, like, they ramped up the physics, didn't they?
And I tried to do it, but I don't get enough speed in this, but I remember you could just bomb it into a wall, smash out the front of your windscreen and hit a wall, and I saw somebody do that, and I thought, my God, what is this game? What is this game?
Was it the Euphoria engine that they introduced with this, that they then used in all of their other games?
And also, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but just they've done such a good job of recreating the city. It's just spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, this was the first time, obviously, GTA 3 was famous for kind of creating a world that felt real, in terms of, like, a world you could explore and do what you want in.
Yeah.
But this was just stunning because it's just an incredible.
It feels lived in.
I mean, this is Brooklyn. I've been to Brooklyn, and it feels and looks just like this. I went to a nice little market just down there and had a pulled pork sandwich. It was banging.
And that's the thing, I think a lot of open world games get that so wrong.
It is. I assume this is the Brooklyn Bridge.
It
must be. If not, then I'm just mental and I've got it all wrong.
I don't think you can go that way yet.
Can't go there.
Classic GTA thing of blocking off the...
I think this is this Brooklyn? You start off in Brooklyn, don't you?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to lie.
I feel like
I've no idea.
I feel like I've made a huge mistake already. Who cares? Who cares? It's impressive, but we're not quite at GTA 5 yet. We have
There's a couple more to go.
A couple more things to go. So let's just have a little hop over here. Come on, hoppity-doo-dah. How do I hop?
Is it X, I think?
I'm pressing X.
There you go.
Ah, that's it. Let's look at another game.
Oh, bit of a stagger.
Could have been worse. Let's look at. So this was the first of the surprisingly good GTA 4 kind of expansions. This is Lost and the Damned, right?
Yeah, it's very good. But again, it's like Vice City Stories, you start on a bike.
On a bike,
bike.
baby. And obviously they've changed slight things. You might not be able to make it out on the screen that clearly, but they've added a kind of film filter. It looks like they have anyway. A slight fuzziness to it. Maybe I'm just making that up in my
I'm
mind.
not sure if that was new or not.
Whoa, I got a shotgun.
Damn.
I should be careful.
But again, totally different tone shift. It was quite depressing, actually, Lost and Damned. You're part of this biker gang and they're involved in drugs and just very kind of, almost like a run, they live in a run-down pub, essentially. That's their kind of hideout. And yeah.
Great music though. And I believe I'm losing my edge. Yeah, no, I'm definitely losing my edge. I've got the police after me.
So yeah, you play as a new character as well. I think his name was Johnny Cleavitz, I think, maybe?
Johnny Cleavage. and just doing some sweet drive-bys. This is some amazing bike skills from me. Yeah, no, I heard it was quite depressing. I mean, basically, it was, oh God, I did properly mess up a policeman, didn't I?
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to pass this mission somehow.
I think you've got 3-star wanted.
3-star
I don't know
wanted.
how you've managed that.
Well, I did shoot a policeman in the face with a shotgun. I
Right.
think that's the sort of thing that sometimes people and law enforcement can have a problem with stuff like that.
Yeah.
How the hell are people supposed to control these bicycle things? This is ridiculous. Yeah, so a bit depressing, and also it was very violent, wasn't it? They actually managed to get quite a lot of like cool chase scenes into it, right? So you have to like do awesome stuff on a bike with shotguns and explosions and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was. You can ride along with your gang members as well, your little biker gang. Well, you're not able to slow up now.
And obviously the music is badass.
Yeah, it was. You know, I think it was the least memorable of all of the actual core.
Of all the core expansion bits.
If you could include this within the core games,
I mean,
which I guess you could.
I'd say so. They were fairly kind of rich. Oh God, I think this might be the point at which I meet my sticky end.
It's all over. And it was another tale. I think that the problem I had with it was kind of predictable. It's another tale of betrayal and revenge, really. And
well, I mean, that's the thing is people complain about GTA cliches and stuff, but actually, I mean, really, it's always been kind of thrived on that kind of cliche.
Yeah.
Let's blow up a car.
Why not?
But we have got kind of one final thing to look at, which actually kind of did a lot better. I'm surprised I'm not dead yet.
It's one of my favourites. One of my favourites, the next one.
I'm not sure this was what the guys I worked for wanted me to do at the start of the mission. It sounded like they wanted me to drive to a safe house, maybe?
You're doing quite well, considering you're surrounded by cops on a motorbike and you're dead.
Yeah. Dear me. Well, I had a pretty good run. Pretty good run.
Oh,
Fuck.
there you go.
That was horrible. Next game! And now we have the final expansion. Yeah, definitely Lost in the Dam did have a kind of fuzzy filter there. This is a lot cleaner. And this is the Ballad of Gay Tony.
Love it.
Which is, yeah, widely regarded as being the best thing that GTA 4 did, really, in terms of, like, I think the mission structure and apparently is really good in this. It's loads of fun.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, it's the main character's an awesome gay gangster dude, which is brill.
I mean, it was the closest thing to Vice City since Vice City. I think that's why I like it so much. And
I think that makes sense.
The missions were just fun. There's one where you have to, you're in a gold-plated blooming attack chopper taking down people just because. And it's just, you have to blow up a cruise ship, I think, at one point, in this gold helicopter. Just because.
Just because, why not?
Yeah.
And also, I mean, you've got little pink icons on the mini-map as well.
It's really good. It's so much fun. So yeah, you play as Louis Lopez in this, and I think this was when they really started to get that sense for narratives that cross over between different characters, which obviously GTA 5, that's a big part of GTA 5. In GTA 4, you actually meet this character at one point in, I think it's like a museum type robbery type thing.
Oh yeah, I remember
and
that.
he's with a different gang. And so you'll see that at different points throughout this game. Like you'll bump into Nico you'll bump into Johnny from Lost and Damned.
Oh, right, so I'm confused here because I admit I haven't had. This is on my list, right?
Yeah.
It's been on my list for so long. Like I think I bought it. I just need to sit down and play it. But is the main character you play gay, or is it just Gay Tony as a character?
Gay Tony is the one sitting in the passenger seat.
So he's not you.
He's not you. You play as Louis Lopez, who is the guy that you are right now. He's kind of a Hispanic guy. But no, Tony is the club owner. He's your boss essentially, and he's a pretty rubbish gangster, and you're there to help him out essentially. and that's why it's so amazing. It's these ludicrous stories. And this stuff, it's Vice City.
It is Vice City. They've gone like a proper 80s revamp.
There's a little dancing mini game.
Lovely.
And then you go and become one with a lady if you dance really well. There you go.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
If you dance successfully with a lady, you may get a surprise.
It's not really a surprise. You could probably guess what it is right now.
Oh, a lady surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just like real life. What's this? What's happening? Oh, this is a surprise. Oh, no, hang on, it isn't. It's exactly what I planned. Sorry. Video games. And that's the end of our GTA exploratory adventure. We've seen all the games. Look at the swagger. That is swagger.
That is pure swagger.
This is great. I see what you mean. This has got a lot of character. It's a bit less kind of bleak and grimy than GTA 4. It's a lot more bling bling.
Yeah.
Like it. And obviously, we're going to have to see what happens because basically, we are playing GTA 5 at the moment. We can't tell you anything about it other than that, but we can tell you that obviously later today, because today's Monday, right? We're going to have the reviews on Monday.
The review 3 o'clock Monday.
3 o'clock.
3 p.m.
So it's probably quite close to 3 o'clock already. So do come back at 3 o'clock and we will have a wunderbar review for you and some features telling you what the game is like because our man Simon has been playing it to hell and back and then to hell again. And
I like his swagger. I could sit here all day swagging.
I don't need GTA 5 because I'm just going to download this and swagger. I'm going to swagger my way through on life. But yeah, do pop back and then we can show you what GTA 5 is like. And what it feels like to be a real man. Swaggering. Hey, stop swaggering. Get your swagger on.
The music
Get into the swagger zone. I've got
a
swagger zone. Engaged. Come on.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. My name's Matt Lees. You've been joined by me and Mr. David Scammell.
Hello.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye. But Dave, there's a game we haven't done.
There is?
Yeah.
Is it out tomorrow?
Hot coffee.